Welcome back to another episode of Ink Transfer Drawing with Mark Zimmerman. My name is Mark Zimmerman, and I'm just putting the finishing touches on a layer of ink on top of plexiglass. And I'm going to drop a sheet of paper on top of that plexiglass, and I'm going to draw and rub on the back of that paper and transfer ink to the front, and that's an ink transfer drawing. Before I'm all done, I'll splash a little watercolor on it too. I'm just going to tape it down so it doesn't move. I want to know where that ink is, and I've got it inside a rectangle of tape. I can just kind of poke this up into the corner and drag it along the edge of that tape. And then I know my drawing needs to stay inside that rectangle, because that's where the ink is. Alright. And I have a little dog, a little puppy at my feet. She's got a bone, and she's kind of a little bit of a pest. Who knew puppies were pests? So I'm going to just draw a little chicken. I've got a picture of a chicken. And I'll just start somewhere. So a little more pressure and I transfer a little more ink. A little less pressure, I transfer less. Make it a little jagged, I transfer less. Puppy's name is Cleo. She's a sweetie. So I'm looking at a chicken, I'm looking at the wattles on a chicken. Some artists will tell you you've never seen anything until you've had to draw it. I'll tell you what, I've never seen these particular wattles before. Man, they are weird. Drawing is really about seeing, and so I'm just working on seeing this little chicken. Squawky little beak. You'll notice I keep my hand either off the paper or up in the air, because if I rest my hand on the paper I transfer ink that way too, and that's not the way I want to transfer ink. Here's the comb. Drew a rooster yesterday and didn't leave myself room for all the comb and started drawing a little large. I think I got it today. Of course, this chicken doesn't have nearly the comb on it that rooster had on it. Here's a little part of a chicken I don't really understand. I think that might be like a nostril. Huh. Who knew? My grandpa probably knew. He raised chickens. You can see down there on the floor every now and then the pup shows up, I think. Well, I better leave something to do with watercolor. Maybe I better look here a little bit too. Left entire parts out. What would my grandpa say? He would say, "What are you, a city kid?" Grew up spending a lot of time on his farm, and man did I love it. I can transfer ink with just the pressure of my finger too. Kind of waiting for this pup to settle down. So I'm going to transfer a little ink there and here and here and here. Oop, I put my thumb down too. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. I think I should divide the space up somehow, huh? Got kind of a boring background. I think I want a particular division of space here that's a golden ratio. So I'm going to actually get a ruler out and measure something. There we go. That's what I want. I want a line 4 1/4 up, which is the golden ratio of 11 inches, which is how. Can't use a ruler. Wow. Guess we'll just make it into something else, huh? Just using the heel of my hand. I can peek, see what's going on under there. It's always a little bit of a mystery and a surprise. Looks pretty good. I think maybe I'll bring this right over into here. I'm going to get this inky plate, piece of plexiglass, out of here. And I'll splash a little color on him too. Or her, I believe, actually. I believe that to be a chicken, not a rooster. Here's the photo I'm looking at. You'll notice everything comes out backwards in a transfer drawing. No getting around that. I've got watercolor. It's tube watercolors. It's already in solution though, which makes it really easy, very, very easy to, easy and quick to use. Hey Cleo, don't climb the ladder. I'm out in my barn studio and there's There's a ladder that leads up into some storage. Cleo is continually fascinated by that ladder. So what I'm doing is painting highlights on the red skin of the wattle and comb. And I have to think backwards. I'm actually really pretty good at that. Probably a lot of people who can attest to the fact that I think backwards. Switch colors a little bit here. Ooh, that's dark. It's got an orange eye. How about that? Most of this orange isn't going to stay orange. Just like that yellow didn't get to stay yellow. Watercolor is usually worked from light to dark, and so I'm putting in the highlights first. I'll come back with the color that it really is and some shadows too. Switch to some red. Give that a little stir. That is red too. A little dark. That'd be okay. It's important when you're painting to remember that in this case this is not a chicken. This is in fact paint and ink on a piece of paper. And at some point, on some level, it has to be interesting as paint and ink. Since that's really what it is, it might as well work on that level too. That it's a chicken is almost beside the point when you're painting. There. I don't need much in the way of shadows. I think I might just almost leave that out. I do see one little shadow I think I want. This is purple. Doing some shadows around that eye. And maybe a little bit deeper shadow up in here. Oh, right here. Gee, you know, you start looking and you need more purple than you thought when you started. There we go. I'm going to make some really, really light Payne's gray, I guess. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of paint here and then take an eyedropper and add some water. Pup is down there discovering how much fun it is to let the bone escape and pounce on it. Well, I don't want to do too much down in here. Let's just suggest some other feathers too. You can suggest them or paint them all. Those are kind of your choices. I think I'm going to switch to a little bit bigger brush here. This is a color called yellow ochre. It's one of the earth tones. This is quite literally earth. It's kind of a particular dirt. In this case, a yellow iron oxide, or oxide of iron. Give my turquoise a little stir, I think, here, and then we'll be ready to sign this. This little girl here, that's dark. Let's add a little water to that. You know what I need? I know what I need. I need a board underneath here so I can tip this thing and let that paint run. I'll let gravity work for me here. Let this paint run downhill. Ooh, didn't mean to paint the beak turquoise. Good thing this old girl didn't pay for a portrait. I'd probably have to be a little fussier. I actually wanted to paint over the bit of there in the mouth. I want that darker. What I'm doing is just adding a little water to this each time I run out of paint. I'm not actually adding paint, I'm just adding water. So it's getting lighter and lighter as it goes up. And I'll let gravity work for me this way too. And then I always sign them in pencil. So I've got a mechanical pencil here. Straddle the puppy and sign this thing. I think I'm going to call it sign it. Date it 2020. And there's an ink transfer drawing we are calling You Chicken. So I hope you had fun watching. I had fun making it. And until next time, bye-bye.